Hey BookTube, Chelsea the Reading Outlaw here to do a book review for you guys. I'm reviewing the audiobook of Salt, Sugar, Fat, How the Food Giants Hooked Us All by Michael Moss, read by Scott Brick. This is, as you can see, a physical on CD audiobook that I checked out from my library. It has been living in my car for the last probably 3 or 4 months. I try to always keep one audiobook on the go in my car CD player in case for some reason something is going on with my phone or I haven't downloaded the thing I need to download or something gets messed up with whatever place I'm at, or sometimes, to be honest, I just don't feel like messing around with having to hook my phone up to the auxiliary input and all of this, and so I just let the CD play, and this was the one I most recently finished. It is 12 discs long. It's about a 400-page physical book. It is about pretty much exactly what it sounds like: salt, sugar, and fat, which are the three primary ingredients in processed food that, one, keeps them behaving the way that they do, and two, keeps us eating them the way that we do. He says in the epilogue to this book that he kind of intends the book to be sort of a consumer tool in making better choices when we go to purchase our food or eat our food. And I will say, it was one of those books where like nothing was wholly revelatory or like new information, but it definitely kind of shone some light on depths that I didn't know existed. Like, obviously I knew that if you go to McDonald's or whatever and you get a hamburger, there's going to be a ton of all of these ingredients in there. But like the actual numbers as to how much, like that's the information that I found shocking. And the fact, the lengths that food manufacturers are willing to go to just to keep people eating, and how much that has come to harm us as Americans in the United States, where processed food is running rampant, and we actually have places called food deserts where there aren't stores where you can buy fresh food, fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, whole grains, and really the only thing they have are packaged items. So a couple of things. So I really like the book to start. Like, food industry, nutrition, health, exercise, that is something that is really, really fascinating to me. And it's something that I feel like we need to all do more to know about, because I feel like the first step in battling what has clearly become an obesity problem here in America is education. And I'm not going to get preachy. I am not exactly the sveltest of supermodels over here, but it's definitely something that I'm trying to get better at, making better decisions and choices. And part of that is having the information. However, there were also some problems with this book. I found parts of it to be incredibly repetitive. I think for stylistic choice, it stuck out more hearing it read than it would have seeing it in print, but the actual phrase salt, sugar, fat, like those three words in that order, were used in conjunctions probably at least a couple hundred times throughout the book, at least a dozen times in every chapter, probably. And that got to be definitely a little repetitive. The book takes the format of breaking each one of these three ingredients down into its own section of the book, and then within that, each ingredient is kind of given one or two like case studies to look at. So when we talk about sugar, the book talks about like post cereal and crafts, or post cereal, and how we went from kind of like the unsweetened corn, like dried corn flakes that cereal started as, to these like megaliths of sugar. I think, what was it? It's like Lucky Charms or Fruity Pebbles or something, when at the height of its like sugar load was like 75% sugar. That's the only thing that was in it, which is worse than like a Snickers bar. So, and then we also looked at Dr. Pepper and the Dr. Pepper family for kind of the soda issue. That's for sugar. In fat, we looked at cheese mainly, and what happens. Like, I didn't know that apparently they used to just keep caves in Kansas, which is where I live, limestone caves. Limestone's a natural stone insulator, of like just caves of cheese because the American Dairy Council didn't want to stop getting paid, and America didn't want to have a problem with its dairy farmers, so we subsidized all the extra cheese they were making and basically just kept it in a giant cave until it went bad, like hundreds and thousands of pounds of cheese. Americans eat like a disgusting amount of cheese every year. It's really gross. It's one of the highest consumptions per capita in the whole world, which kind of surprised me considering how cheese heavy some like French and European dishes can be. But yep, nope, here in America, we love cheese. We love cheese of all varieties. So that was mainly the fat column. And then in salt, we mainly talked about potato chips, potato chips, pretzels, those kinds of things, and how and the different uses salt can have as a preservative and the different forms that it takes. So on the whole, it was definitely an informative book. It was, like I said, there wasn't any like shocking new information where I had to like pull the car over and write that down or like tweet it to myself or make a little note of the timestamp so I could go back and find it later. Production wise, it was read very, very well. The one thing I will say is that since I can't speed up my car stereo, narration becomes an even bigger deal to me since I can't listen to it on my normal 2x speed. But this one didn't bother me. This one really, I felt like the narrator did a good job. He wasn't too soporific. He did a fairly good job putting the right emphasis and the right kind of incredulity in where it was necessary without making it too overwrought. Again, the only thing that I kind of had a problem with when it came to hearing it out loud was the constant repetition of the salt, sugar, and fat, but that's not the narrator's fault. So on the whole, I gave this book 3 stars. I really liked it. I didn't absolutely love it. It's not the best book that I've read on the subject, but if it's something that you don't know much about or you're looking for kind of an insight into like many varieties of the food production system, from ingredients to food engineering to advertising, this is definitely a book that I would take a look at. And again, that is Salt, Sugar, Fat, How the Food Giants Hooked Us by Michael Moss. As always, if you've read it, please comment down below to let me know. Let me know if you're planning on picking it up as well. You can always like, subscribe, and I will see you guys around the internet. Bye.